Welcome to PhoneArena. Today we're taking a look at the Sony Ericsson Xperia X, the successor to the Sony Ericsson Xperia X10, which wasn't the most critically acclaimed handset out there. So let's see if the X makes up for all the things that we would have improved on the X10. Firstly, we can see the design. Everyone who held this device agreed it's a sexy device. Now it might sound stupid to call a phone sexy, but you'd be surprised the reactions this handset got. On this front, it definitely feels premium, and so has initially, from the get-go, improved on the Sony Ericsson Xperia X10's shortcomings. Now what else we can see is you've got a beautiful 4.2-inch screen. This incorporates Sony's Bravia technology and delivers bright, accurate colours with nice contrast levels and good detail. The viewing angles aren't fantastic on the handset. However, we can overlook this as the head-on experience is head and shoulders above a lot of the competition. While colours aren't as bright and punchy as Super AMOLED screens, it nevertheless offers a very comparable experience overall. Taking a look at the rest of the device, we've got 3 hardware buttons underneath the screen, while above the screen we've got a light sensor and an in-call speaker. Below the screen is a pinhole microphone. To the right of the screen is left of the screen, is a 3.5mm headphone jack. To the right of the screen you can find the micro USB port, a volume rocker, and a very little camera button. This isn't too difficult to press, however, but it does help if you're holding the phone in 2 hands. On top of the screen is a micro HDMI port and a power button. Now the power button is quite small and fiddly and definitely does take some getting used to. Flip the device round and we can find an 8-megapixel camera packed with HD video recording and a flashlight. Below the Sony Ericsson insignia at the bottom is the loudspeaker, and we can just remove the battery. The device is plastic, by the way, so the back cover is plastic, and we can find the battery and the SIM card slot as well as the micro SD card slot. Now while we say the device is plastic, and on most handsets this isn't necessarily the best thing, as far as the Sony Ericsson Xperia X is concerned, this just adds to the lightness of the device. With such a slim, thin, attractive, light phone that's clearly so well designed, the fact that it's predominantly made of good quality plastic really doesn't deter, as it adds a whole load of other benefits, such as being so light. On top of that, it really looks good. You have chrome around the sides, and there's an overall sense of luxury about the device. So as far as the looks goes and the screen, we're definitely pleased with Sony Ericsson's efforts. Taking a look at the interface, we can see some really nice customizations Sony Ericsson have made. One, for example, is the pinch to overview tweak, similar to HTC's, and then after that much copied pinch to view all your home screens. This one lets you pinch, but instead of viewing all your home screens, you view all your widgets. This is a really nice touch, as you just tap the widget you want to go to and it'll take you to the home screen of that widget. In addition to that, your home screen is comprised of 5 shortcuts at the bottom. These include media, which have gallery, music and FM radio, messaging, your app drawer, contacts, and your dialer. The dialer is pretty standard. However, for example, if you were to type in a numeric name, it wouldn't bring the name up like the HTC dialer would. However, it's pretty standard and extremely usable nonetheless, with clear buttons that are easy to press and responsive. As far as widgets go, standard Android, you can drag and drop widgets and add widgets to your heart's content. A nice touch is the animation of widgets. So if we were to look at the custom widgets here on Sony Ericsson's Xperia X, we can see some really nice exclusive widgets. One, for example, would be the timescape widget. If we add the timescape widget, we can choose what it features. So if we just add the standard widget, there's no room. This is a standard widget. We can see it scrolls through all our text messages and Facebook updates. Once we move the widget around, however, picking it up and dropping it will result in custom animations which look really pleasing. Another area these animations can be found in menus. As you can see, when we flick to the top and bottom, there's a custom light up at the top and bottom, which just lets us know we've reached the end of our list or the beginning. Additional features such as the context menu and everything are very similar to the predecessors, with your options of phone, call log, contacts, favorites, so we won't go into those in too much detail. If we look at the app drawer, this is another nice touch that's only found on Sony Ericsson handsets. We can arrange applications in our own order alphabetically, most used and recently installed. If we are to rearrange the applications, we can see this is all done very aesthetically pleasingly. Going back to the home screen, and we can start to take a look at some of the cool custom features as far as multimedia are concerned. Open the media button and we can see the gallery. The gallery is your standard Android gallery. Taking a look at the camera, we can see to the left hand side is a pull-out menu which enables you to change the capturing mode, resolution, touch capture, self-timer and flash, while to the right hand side is a gallery. This is reminiscent of Windows Phone 7, however is much more of an overview and is extremely functional. You can take a shot by either pressing the shutter release button or by tapping the screen. You can also change the mode from photo to movie using the center toggle. The camera has image stabilization and the shots taken on the handset were really good. We're particularly impressed with the levels of detail, as can be seen here once rendered. And the macro functionality, again, is also very good. As far as the video goes, video is taken at 720p. Now the really nice thing about the video on the Sony Ericsson Xperia Arc is that you'll have it refocus if you bring your subject closer to the lens. So it can actually go from being quite a landscape video camera to a relatively macro video camera, which is something we don't see on many handsets at all. As you can see, it just refocused. In addition, you can see that video capture plays very well on this device, and the same can be said for movies, making it a very competent multimedia player. As far as internet browsing goes, due to the large 4.2-inch screen, it really does make for a good browser. You've got Android's standard web browser on board, so pinch to zoom functionality works a treat. Pages load up with good times and are very smooth once they do, and you've got flash support out of the box. While the video support on our handset did require an update, we assume that the retail units probably won't. As far as other functionality and bespoke software goes, there's your standard timescape, which can be found on other Sony Ericsson handsets, but is much less heavily integrated in this handset, which is quite nice. This makes it much more optional rather than imposed upon the user. The other thing which was very cool was the Liveware Manager, enabling you to plug in a device and force an application to start up upon plugging in. Therefore, if we plugged in our headphones, we can make it launch music automatically, or various other music players such as Spotify. This adds a huge amount of functionality and saving the user a little bit of hassle. On top of that, we also had Media Server preloaded upon our device. This is going to add DLNA type functionality to the handset, and we found it worked very well. As far as performance goes, as you can see from the what we've shown you so far, there isn't really much slowdown to speak of. It has a 1 GHz processor on board, and while a lot of people might be concerned about the future-proofness of the 1 GHz processor, as it stands, it performs very adequately. To wrap up, we can say congratulations to Sony Ericsson. Not only was our recent review of the PlayStation phone, the Xperia Play, really preferential, the Xperia Arc, the other flagship device, is also looking really good. The handset offers a lot. You have a beautiful design package. On top of that, the screen really pops. You've got a fantastic camera on board, and you've also got a much improved UI and interface. Sure, naysayers will look at the 1 GHz processor and be concerned about the future-proof of the how future-proof the device is, but nevertheless, we didn't find too much slowdown at all, and we can definitely say for 90% of users it's gonna hit the money on every shot. For other handsets to consider, if you need more power, you can look at the Motorola Atrix, though the screen's slightly smaller. For a screen with the same size, the upcoming Samsung Galaxy S2 might be just the ticket. Alternatively, if you want an iPhone experience, obviously the iPhone 4 is your current option. Or for a Windows Phone 7, we'd say the D7, HTC HD7, would probably be your closest bet. Thanks for watching PhoneArena. This has been our video review of the Sony Ericsson Xperia X. For more on this and other great handsets, visit www.phonearena.com.